Happy Saturday, everyone. Wanted to make a quick video, kind of show you what I've been seeing in the market and what maybe, the moves we've had this week. So overall, we've been moving very, in a tight range, about like 100 points or so, which for me can signify that we may have a bigger movement later on. We don't know when, but overall you can start preparing yourself if you keep seeing these small range, like for example right now, we're like just stuck in here in this broadening formation. um my thesis is if we start to kind of lose this area like the 6970, um, we can start coming back down maybe to the bottom of this broadening formation. We've been finding a lot of support in this area, in this kind of like in this area right here. So if we do start losing that, then maybe we break out of this broadening formation and even this daily fib, and we start to kind of go down, maybe lose that previous month 50%, and who knows, come back down to retest these lows right here. Um, and if we really start, if like for example, if VIX, it's been consolidating for a while, and if it really wants to pick up and move out of this kind of $4 range, or like 4 point range it's been trading, and it just wants to keep pushing up, then maybe we start to see some volatility. We tend to see volatility around this time of year. Another thing that as you can see, like ES is kind of trading out, and NQ is really like consolidating over here. So, you can either get like a breakout and come back down, or we can do the opposite where, we get the breakdown and push back up. But it's getting tighter and tighter. So I think, a move is bound to happen. If we do start to get really aggressive moves to the downside, you can kind of start to see if we see some supports over here and even like down here. If we really start doing aggressive moves to the downside, because yeah, ES kind of we have that divergence right now where um, ES has made new all-time highs, and Q hasn't. And I feel like if we close January like that, then yeah, we'll have that divergence and we can see bigger moves. This week, like I said, we traded in this range, and once we had that market structure to the downside on the hourly, you basically could have drawn your fibs like right here, and you can see that was my thesis on why overnight we pushed up, and I had this hourly fib, and I said if we can't get over that 707, 711, which is the previous year high, then we might start pushing down, and we kind of did that, and then we formed another kind of swing high and on Friday, and I mean Friday was a choppy mess, so you kind of had to be in and out. But even after that big move that we had to the 6960, we kind of chopped inside the fib, and then we kind of stay down here basically. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation, a lot of compression. So we are bound to have a bigger move. So watch for any potential catalysts and the calendar. Let's see. Next week, the bigger catalysts, we have GDP. Thursday, Monday, we're closed. And then, yeah, Thursday, we have a lot. And then we have the Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. So, and of course, we always have the wild card that is any Trump tweet or any Trump news, especially regarding war or anything like that, or tariffs. So be on the lookout for that. The other view I like using, as you have seen my tweets and my videos, is I like using SATI's indicators, and I like trading SPX off of that. I've had a lot of success. Like I highlighted yesterday, yesterday's moves here on my first move was basically these on a 3 minute. I use these tweezers because you could see we were, I think I have the ATR levels off. Yeah. We we opened a golden gate, but AD like market internals were pointing down, were negative. So that kind of, and I already had like, I'm like, we have this gap here and we actually have this gap here. So it kind of like it didn't give me much bullish sentiment. I opened a trade here, and I usually like to wait a few candles, but after this candle here, I was like, let me give it a shot, and if we start pushing up, I'll get out of the trade. Um, and then I held it after we stopped seeing, we made it to PDC, and I said once we pushed back up and we were in the 3 minute 200 EMA, which is kind of like my favorite play because I always see reactions off of it. And once we saw that we couldn't get above the ribbon, I actually entered another put, and while I was holding the one here, and then once we we got to here, the put trigger, I exited, and luckily I did. I didn't catch the upside. I'm still one of the things I want to get better at this year is kind of being able to quickly see like the reversal and catch like the other side. Some days I'm able to catch it, but some I kind of freeze and I just kind of wait. But the fact that I was able to take profit, just I was like, anyways, I had a good profit for the day. Then end of day, the fact that we kept staying like that last 30 minutes, we were below the 200 EMA. Those last 10 minutes, I was able to catch like a quick 100% here. I got in like I could barely get filled, and whatever I got filled at, I know some people caught like 500% or something. It was a nice banger on that one. And overall the week, like it was OPEX. So, I noticed here I didn't take the trade. I was busy at work, but on the 10 minute, on the 10 minute here, I had noticed that we were on Thursday. Where's my Thursday? Oh, here it is. We were having a divergence here. We kept pushing up, and then here we kept pushing down. So that gave a nice second half uh, downside, and you could have taken it here, um, either right here when you started seeing these tweezers form, or maybe an early entry here and exit at the 21 EMA, and then um, and yeah, the 10 minute 200 EMA was a perfect exit. Like I said, I didn't take this trade, but it's really good to train your eyes and start to notice these trades. What else did you see? Did I catch this week? I believe here I caught something here as well after the gap down. Um, I like using a 3 minute and oh yeah, here I remember I know we got to the -1 ATR, and I didn't catch this trade because I was letting things settle. And I remember catching it here because once you start seeing that you're not, that you're not flipping the ribbon, I like to see how we react at the 21 EMA. And then I exited, I think around here, like right at the -1 ATR. I figured we would revisit it. Of course, if I would have held it, I could have gotten more. But once you have that bias to the downside, like I said, I don't like playing the flip. A lot of traders will come and take this to the upside. I just kind of wait to see where else it's gonna go. But overall, like I said, we've been choppy, so the plays haven't been as good or as crazy, but you can, if you have your plan, your rules, your risk management, you can easily get 50%, 100% out of XPX on these small moves. You just have to really be disciplined to take your profit and to cut your losses if you see something not going your way, and being okay with leaving money in the table. I see a lot of traders that get disappointed because they left money in the table, but it really, you should be okay with it. And then overall, like on the hourly, kind of curious to see how we hold here because this could start forming a VOMI. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And then if you kind of look, we're trading here. We're kind of like I showed with ES. We're just zigzagging, and so something's bound to happen. On the daily, think it's not clear with ES, I mean with SPX, but with ES, you can see all this compression, all these white candles. And then with NQ, it's even more visible here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Almost 20 sessions we've been in compression. So just keep an eye on that. I expect something to happen eventually. Right here, this is the position range, which is the monthly range. The monthly pivot is right here. And so right now we've been trading above it in between that and the call trigger for the month for the position range. So if we start breaking down, the ribbon's kind of getting a little thin as well. Then maybe you could target this right here, and if not, oh yeah, the position is actually the quarterly, so not the let's see, the swing is the monthly. So even here on the swing, we're trading kind of like in that monthly pivot um, and the call trigger. We haven't opened the golden gate for that yet. ES, I think it did right here, but like I said, it kind of came down. ES has been trading above the daily 21 EMA, so let's see how that holds up. And like Sadie says in his weekly pivot videos, you know, I wouldn't get, don't let the fear monger get you. We've been trading above it for the most part of the last year, other than when, we had the big downturn early last year. So unless you start seeing that break down, I mean, here you saw it break down a little and came back up, but I don't think we'll get a huge, like, everybody thinks we're getting this huge crash, and who knows, we might. Um, but overall, just let the chart guide you. But yeah, overall, let's see what happens next week. We have only 4 trading days next week, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for joining my video.